Hey, Craig, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. We'll be reading you on waitingfornextyear.com. All right, Kenny, hang on one second. I want to bring in Ron Reagan. Kenny, again, raise your hand if you have a question for Ron. Okay, you were at the press conference today. Yeah. I do think the Pilot Flying J situation dictates some of the things that are going on in Jimmy Haslam's world. First of all, when the whole thing came up, he had to back off the Browns. Now I wonder where he is today and when we're going to see Jimmy Haslam next. Because I do think Pilot Flying J has a lot to do with what's going on here.
Well, what's interesting about what happened today is that, you know, his management style, he has always consistently said that he is a hands-on guy, that when he bought the Browns, he came up in that first news conference, you remember, I think it was August, and he said, you know, I'm a guy that I hire good people, and, you know, I watch them, I'm bringing in a good staff. And so I think what you're saying here really dovetails a lot. He wants to show that he is aggressive and he's on the ball. And now the problem you have with this scenario jumps out at you, though. If he's that involved in what's going on, how do you get to the point where he's at, where he's saying, yeah, I'm involved, but I didn't actually know what the shenanigans of some of my underlings at Pilot Flying J. But to your point, I think that he is very much wants to get involved and get his hands on things, because I do think that that's what he is.
I think there's a lot of thought back and forth. Kenny, I'll get to you in 1 second. That today is one of those, I heard both sides of this. One was, okay, this Pilot Flying J is going on in the background, and this means that Jimmy feels comfortable enough that he can step back into the Browns. The other side of it is he's nervous about what's going on, and he wants to make sure things are right. What do you think?
Well, the reality of what's going on with the criminal investigation and Pilot is this. We are getting down to probably outside maybe maybe six more months. But you got to look at it like this. He's had 9 of his executives now walk up to the feds and say, hey, send me to prison. I did it. I committed federal crimes. They've got a good stack of folks now that they can line up. The pressure that is on these others now is vast. People are talking. They're trading information. This investigation can't really, I really don't see it going on beyond another 6 months. I just don't. So, to your point, we're coming up to a crescendo here, and a couple of things are going to happen. Some top executives at Pilot Flying J are going to wind up getting indicted, and you have to ask yourself, is it going to go all the way to Jimmy?
All right, let's go to Kenny Roda on this. Kenny, your thoughts?
Yeah, I wanted to weigh in on this, on what you guys were talking about right there. Maybe, and this is just me thinking out loud, guys, maybe Jimmy Haslam's looking at the 2 businesses that he's running right now and trying to get everything in order in case the worst case scenario does happen, where he does end up, getting convicted of this, and he has to give up the ownership rights to his father or put it in the family's name of the Cleveland Browns, and he's not able to run either one. So the time that he has left, he wants to be hands-on in trying to set things up and trying to get them running in the right direction in case he's taken away from both of these organizations. And guys, I was told this a while ago. The feds don't get involved in something like this unless they feel they have very good evidence to convict the highest guy, on the corporate ladder, if you will, and that's Jimmy Haslam. And as you guys were talking about, you're seeing people turning over left and right, giving more information, and you're hearing more that, there were top executives involved in some of these meetings, so it's not out of the realm of possibility that Jimmy Haslam could be convicted on this.
Well, let me just say this, too. If you have a question for Ron and the direct relationship between Pilot Flying J and the Browns, please feel free to call in right now at 216-431-3820 or Skype in at DAWGS on the Run.
Well, I think what Kenny just said, there's a lot to be said for this. Jimmy's problem is going to be, and I've said this a lot on your radio show, his problem is going to be that we've got these 9 pilot executives now who are going to line up and tell what they know, and they're not going to go off to federal prison by themselves.
Sure.
And so let's say Jimmy knew nothing about this. Let's just give him that benefit of the doubt. He has said he knew nothing about this. Let's give him that. But his problem is going to be a lot like DeMora and Russo. People turned on them. They started giving up information. And if the feds believe they have 10 or 12 top level people all saying Jimmy was in the room and signed off on this, there's a chance, good chance, that he could face an indictment. Would he be convicted? You know, you'd have to see how the evidence plays out. We don't know what the feds have. And Kenny may have been alluding to this a second ago. This investigation was going on for 2 years before it became public. And that is extremely vital to keep that top of mind because we don't know everything that they have.
Do you ever think you'd be this involved in football and sports talk?
No, I like being with you.
Oh, well, good. There we go.
I love the Browns through all of this, and you just hope. You know, I was sitting there today, and I was just thinking, gee whiz, you know, how does this stuff we can't seem to move ahead. We just can't seem to move ahead.
I'm curious from your perspective as you watched that press conference today. Do you think it was aggressive? I mean, you've been to almost all of Haslam's. Do you think the questions are getting more aggressive?
Oh, I do.
And that they're just kind of, yeah.
Oh, I do. That struck me.
Right.
Because, you know, the sports media, you guys have to walk a fine line. You've got to cover these guys. But I think the sports media today was aggressive, but I think they were tremendously fair because the fans, I think, have had it. I think they want answers. And I think this constant merry-go-round now is getting old.
All right, Ron, thank you very much. We appreciate your time.
You bet.
And
You
we'll
bet.
make sure we see
Yeah,
your stuff
you bet.
on News Channel 5 as well and NewsNet 5 as well, too. All right, let's take a Skype call from one of our good friends. Look who is here. It's the dog Tubby, or Tubby Dog. How
What's
are
up,
you,
fellas?
my friend?
Oh, you know, living the dream, brother. I got my flak vest on, though, because I'm looking at my social media,
Right.
and I think shit's going to blow up, man. I'm afraid.
Why? Why do you think that?
Cleveland Twitter's got me scared, man. Like, my computer's going to blow up, my phone's going to blow up. I mean, everybody's going nuts. But, I mean, for me, though, I think this is an excellent move. I like this. Now we got a bunch of guys in the office with nothing to lose and everything to prove. And you get a group of guys like that together, and they're going to move mountains, man. This is good shit.
All right, so when you woke up and you heard the news today, what was the first thing that went through your mind, Tubby?
Holy shit. That's exactly what I said. I said, holy shit. And then I started, is this real? Is this real life? Am I awake? And more and more reports come out, more and more people confirmed it, and I was like, alrighty, it's about time he showed some balls, and, finally he's taken, the house needed to be cleaned, and, if he's going to get dumped on for it, it might as well be his decisions. He might as well have it the whole way. So I like it. I just don't know. My biggest question is, I don't know, from talking to my ticket rep and as many season ticket holders I've already bailed on the next season, I don't know if this is enough, though, to lure those people back. Like, they might do okay in single game sales, but to get that single ticket season holder,
Tubby, let me give you
people back.
2 words. Ready? Johnny
Yep.
Manziel.
Yeah, that would be fun. All the fake money getting thrown around in the dog pound every time he scores, that'd be excellent. But I don't know. I don't even know if Manziel can do it at this point. I think it's gotten to the point now where it's show me first. Win the season, and maybe I'll buy into it. But
I still got to commend you on your uniform because I don't know if you were out shoveling the driveway or you were trying to snowboard face first, but you gotta show us the whole get up, the whole gear.
the
What
whole
is
gear.
it?
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
it's just
what,
I got
what
my
in the hell
chest
is
on,
that?
I got my flak vest on, and it's got a PP protector.
Okay, we don't need to see that part.
And then, and I got the felt helmet on. I got it signed, too. It's got T.J. Ward on there. It's got Joe Hayden and Billy Wynn. So,
Why the flak jacket though? Why was that the choice?
because I had it. It's mine. It's the same one I wore in Iraq, dude.
Okay, no,
And it still fits.
and thank you for your service. I'm just saying, was there a theme you were trying to present that was based on today's press conference? I thought.
Oh,
you had
yeah, I'm
something
just
cooking.
taking cover because, shit, Haslam may fire my ass, Holy shit. He's got the gun out and shooting, It ain't blanks. He's loaded the bear, man.
All right, last question for you, Tubby. Do you feel better about the Browns right now than you did when you went to bed last night?
Yeah. Now I'm actually intrigued. Now I want to see what they're going to do this year. I want to see what they're going to do in camp, and I want to see how they look in the first couple of games. I'm excited to see how this team looks now, and I think Farmer's an excellent choice. and I think he's going to do his best, And, we got, between Ray Farmer and Pettin, there's two guys right there that you just don't want to mess with. You look at them, and they're like, holy crap, if I seen these guys in a dark alley or had to face them in the octagon, I'm screwed.
Octagon.
All right, Tubby, thank you. Thank you. We appreciate you Skyping in with us today, and you're an excellent member of the Dogs on the Run team. Thank you.
Thanks. See you next
Give us a
season.
little dance
Yeah,
out.
dance out, baby, dance out.
Yeah, all right, there we go. All right, the Tubby Dog has
You're the man.
spoken. All right, we're going to wrap it up here in about 5 minutes. Thank you, Tubby. I want to bring this up as my last question for you, Kenny, and I want to bring this up as my last question for you, Mike, as well. Now that you've got a change at the general manager position, how does that affect free agency, and do you believe that this is helpful or hurtful for T.J. Ward and Alex Mack? Go ahead first, Kenny.
I'll go back to what I said right at the beginning of the show. Addition by subtraction. I don't know what Pettin's going to do. I don't know what Farmer's going to do, but getting rid of Lombardi and Banner is addition by subtraction, especially what do they have, $35, $40 million to spend in free agency. They have to decide whether they want to keep their own in Mack and Ward, franchise one of those guys, try and sign the other. I think both of those guys have to view this as a positive about coming back to the Browns. And I think throughout the NFL, other players now will see that there is no Banner, there is no Lombardi, and they might reconsider the Cleveland Browns, whereas before those two were still here, those players that the Browns might be interested would not even look at this organization because of all the upheaval, the chaos, the dysfunction that's been going on. So again, addition by subtraction, getting rid of Banner and Lombardi, it is a good thing. How good, only time will tell.
I mean, I got to agree with him. I hate to just jump on what he said, but reading some of the tweets and reading what some NFL people in the know said, there was one tweet out there that Mary Kay Cabot from the Plain Dealer had said that she talked to other NFL officials that said because of the subtraction that Kenny was talking about of Lombardi and Banner, they would have no problem doing business with the Browns, i.e. trade. I think that's going to be more of the same. And I think what Kenny said holds a lot of water because I think between Ward and Alex Mack, they're going to make a decision on who to franchise, and then the other one's going to have to deal with it. But I believe, Kenny, I agree with you 100%. I think you are going to see some more people look at the Cleveland Browns in a different light. Does that mean they're going to get maybe some of the big free agents? Maybe not. But I think that it opens up some eyes around the league.
Eric, the referee.
I have one question for you guys. Sure. How long do you think this move was in the works? Because if you look at it, Ray Farmer didn't take the Dolphins job. We all know that. That's been talking about. But he's been the only one scouting. He's been the only one down in Alabama for the Senior Bowl. It seems like Haslam has been kind of planning this for the last couple weeks.
All right, let's go through this one. Look, I think Mike Lombardi was stunned today when he found out that he lost his job. I think that Joe Banner may have known a little bit into this thing a couple weeks ago. I think Jimmy Haslam may have started making his mind up the day he said, yes, let's get rid of Chud. And then I think it really became evident to Jimmy Haslam that he had to let at least Joe Banner go. Because I think that the thing about Mike Lombardi is I think he was dovetailing. And, we heard the comment earlier, and I think, Kenny, you said it, that Mike Lombardi didn't even say anything in these interviews. Again, I think it was by design. I think it was the fact that Joe Banner had said that. I was floored early on in the coaching search when I was hearing stories that the only two guys that were going on job interviews at one point were Alex Shiner and Joe Banner. To me, that's a red flag right away. There's no X's and O's guy there. I think it was dangerous from the beginning, but I think they got a guy that fits the personality of Jimmy Haslam. In the end, they hired the guy that Jimmy Haslam wanted, and so that's where we're going to move forward with it. Kenny, your thoughts?
I think what Eric was talking about there, this is just me. I have no proof. I'm a conspiracy theorist, from the day I was born, I think. There had to be something in the works with Ray Farmer, a while ago, as Eric pointed out. He was the one down there at the Senior Bowl doing all the scouting. And lo and behold, he's the guy that's going to be putting together the draft board. And for him to turn down the Dolphins, connect the dots, guys, right? He's at the Senior Bowl. He turns down the job. This comes down today, and he's the guy that's going to be making the decisions for free agency and the draft. Those dots all connect. Where there's smoke, there's fire. So to me, well, I don't know if they met on a tarmac in Maryland like Modell did when he moved the Browns or whatever. Maybe it was at Hopkins or Burke Lakefront Airport where they had this secret meeting to say, hey, something's going to happen. I need you to really, go balls to the walls for this one and be ready in case something happens. I think there was something there, and Ray Farmer and Jimmy Haslam now are working together, and Farmer reports to Jimmy Haslam, and Banner and Lombardi are gone. That's just me. Progressive Gambler, Dewey Oxford.
Kenny, the last word. Go.
Last word?
Yep.
Addition by subtraction. I'm going to keep going back to that. That's the best way to put this. The Browns are better off today, not because I know what Pettin and what Farmer can do, but I do know what Banner and Lombardi couldn't do. So that's more than one word, but addition by subtraction.
Kenny, thank you. If we want to watch your podcast, where do we need to go?
www.kennyrhoda.com. There's podcasts, there's blogs. You can listen to my podcast from today, my thoughts on this, and you can also follow me at the Kenny Rhoda on Twitter. And hey, don't look now. The Cavaliers are up by 8, and they could be 3-0 since the firing of Chris Grant. So maybe that's a good omen for the Browns.
Word on the street, you might be the only person looking because it doesn't sound like the crowd is very big over there at the Q tonight.
Everybody's excited about the Browns. You know this is a Browns town first and foremost. They're all out celebrating because Dr. No and Mr. Freeze, their asses were kicked out.
Goodbye, Kenny. Thank you.
Later, guys.
All right. With the exception of Chris Antonetti, who's the longest tenured general manager by far in this town, I don't think it's fun to be a general manager in this city. Final thought.
Final thought, I don't know if the Browns got better today, but I know that Jimmy Haslam made a move that he needed to make. These two guys had to be removed from the process, and now it's time. And I agree with the streamline effect. I think whether or not how stable this all becomes, and whether or not you're upset or you're happy, I think you have to applaud what Jimmy Haslam's done because he made the right move. Maybe he took too long; he would have liked it done sooner. But I think the Browns made a step in the right direction. We'll know farther down the line with the draft coming up. But it's a move that had to be made, and I at least applaud Jimmy Haslam for making the move and pulling the trigger and getting these guys out.
Final word for me. Here's what I said before. We might be going down to one of the best days in Browns history today. It might, though, be a year from now where we're shaking our heads going, does this owner have any idea what he's doing? If he doesn't stick with Mike Pettin and he doesn't stick with Ray Farmer, I think there are going to be gigantic questions about Jimmy Haslam as an owner. I also think the Pilot Flying J situation is going to play into this at some point. The team will be owned by the Haslam family at some point, but I also think that Pilot Flying J situation is going to come to a head. And Ron had said he thinks in the next, 6 months? Is that what he said? 6 months. So I think that's where we sit with this thing right now. If they can go out and make the right draft, they got 10 picks. If they do the right thing in the draft and they start winning games, I think this town will go nuts if they can even go 500 next year. And if they can go even more than that, then I think good things are coming, and today will have been a good day. But if we're sitting here a year from now doing this again, I think people are going to say that this is a power-hungry owner who has no business owning a team. It's on the line. Want to talk about accountability? At the end, it's on Jimmy Haslam. I just hope we don't have too many more days like this because inconsistency is the only thing we've had in this franchise since 1999. Or I'll even go back to 94 since we found out that Art Modell was moving the team. Mike, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Yes, you got it.
We'll watch you tonight at 11. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and we appreciate everybody watching us online here on Newsnet5.com and who've been with us through thick and thin on Dogs on the Run. You guys are great, and we appreciate all you do. Till then, be a hero, be a real hero, be an organ donor. We'll see you later, folks. Bye.